This hotel night guard was given 5 impossible roles. By morning, he understood why the last 12 guards all went mad. Tunde was a mathematics graduate working as a boat driver when his friend Kunde called him with an opportunity that sounded too good to be true. Guy, this hotel in Via is looking for night guard. They're paying 150,000 naira monthly. Night guard. Just walk around and sleep small. Easy money. Tunde was suspicious immediately. Nobody pays 150,000 naira for just walking around. But his landlord had given him till Friday to pay 180,000 naira in rent arrears or move out. It was currently Wednesday. Desperation was beating him like a stepchild. The interview was strange from the start. The hotel manager, Mr. Obasanjo, no relation to the former president, he made sure to clarify, was a small, wiry man who looked like he hadn't slept since 1999. His left eye twitched every 5 seconds like it was sending Morse code. Tunde, I'll be frank with you, Mr. Obasanjo said, his eye doing its regular twitch. This job pays well because it's not easy. It's not dangerous in the normal sense, no armed robbers, no violence, but it requires absolute discipline, mental discipline. Can you follow instructions even when they make no sense? Sir, for 150,000 naira, I will follow instructions written in Chinese. Mr. Obasanjo didn't smile. He slid a red folder across the table. Read these rules. Read them carefully. If you can follow all 5 rules for 1 month, the job is yours permanently. But if you break even one rule, he trailed off, his eye twitching 3 times in rapid succession. What happens if I break one rule, sir? Let's just say we'll need to hire another guard very quickly. Tunde opened the folder. Inside was a single laminated page with 5 rules typed in bold red letters. Rule 1. At exactly midnight, you must stand in front of room 314 and say out loud, I am not welcome here. You must say it 3 times. If you hear a voice respond, yes, you are not welcome, you can continue your rounds. If you hear anything else, or if you hear nothing at all, you must immediately go to the hotel chapel and pray for exactly 17 minutes. Not 15, not 20. Exactly 17 minutes. Set a timer. Rule 2. Between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., you will receive a phone call on the hotel landline in the security office. A woman will ask you, is my daughter there? You must answer, your daughter went home safely. She will ask you 2 more times. You must give the exact same answer. Do not ask questions. Do not try to help. Do not say anything else. If you deviate from this script even slightly, hang up immediately and unplug the phone. Then wait in the supply closet until 3 a.m. Rule 3. At some point during your shift, you will see yourself. Not a mirror reflection, not a shadow. You, walking down a corridor or standing in a room. The other you will try to make eye contact. Do not look at its face. Do not speak to it. Do not acknowledge it in any way. Walk backward slowly until you reach a doorway. Then turn and walk, do not run, to the nearest bathroom. Lock yourself inside and count backward from 100. When you reach 0, flush the toilet 3 times. Only then can you come out. Rule 4. If you encounter a guest bleeding from any visible wound after 2:30 a.m., you must ask them one question. Are you checking out? If they say yes, call an ambulance immediately. If they say no or say anything else, apologize and walk away. Do not offer help. Do not call for help. Do not follow them. This will be the hardest rule to follow. Follow it anyway. Rule 5. At exactly 4:44 a.m., all the lights in the hotel will flicker 3 times. When this happens, you must be in the security office with the door locked. You will hear footsteps in the corridor outside. You will hear knocking. You will hear voices of people you know. Your mother, your friends, your girlfriend calling your name, begging you to open the door, saying there's an emergency. Do not open the door. Do not respond. Do not even look at the door. Face the CCTV monitors and watch them. Only watch the screens. At exactly 4:59 a.m., the sounds will stop. Count to 60. Then you can open the door. Tunde read the rules 3 times. Then he looked up at Mr. Obasanjo. Sir, I'm sorry, but what kind of hotel is this? These rules sound like something from a horror movie. Mr. Obasanjo's expression didn't change. Golden Tulip Hotel has been operating for 47 years. We've hosted presidents, celebrities, foreign dignitaries. We have a 5-star rating. We're a legitimate business. These rules exist for your safety and the safety of our guests. I cannot explain why. I can only tell you that every guard who has followed these rules has been fined. Every guard who broke them, well, we had to close down for renovations for a week each time. What happened to them? That's not information I'm authorized to share. Do you want the job or not? Tunde thought about his landlord, about his empty bank account, about his mother in the village who needed money for her medication. I'll take it, sir. Good, you start tonight, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Remember, follow the rules exactly. Not approximately, not close enough, exactly.
At 1 a.m., a mother called screaming for her missing 7-year-old daughter. The rules said Tunde could only say one thing. He's still haunted by what he had next. The first night, Tunde was a bundle of nerves. At 11:45 p.m., he stood outside room 314, practicing his line like an actor preparing for a stage play. I am not welcome here. I am not welcome here. He felt ridiculous. What if other guests heard him? What if they complained? What if this was all just an elaborate prank and Mr. Obasanjo was somewhere watching him on camera, laughing? But at exactly midnight, Tunde had set 3 different alarms to make sure. He stood in front of room 314 and said it. I am not welcome here. His voice came out as a whisper. He cleared his throat and said it again, louder. I am not welcome here. Then a third time. I am not welcome here. For a long moment, there was silence. Complete, total silence. The kind of silence that makes your ears ring. Tunde's heart was pounding so hard he could hear it. Then, from inside the room, a voice, old, tired, and impossibly sad, said, Yes, you are not. Tunde's blood ran cold. The voice didn't sound human. It sounded like something pretending to be human. Like someone had described what a human voice sounds like, and this thing was doing its best impression. He wanted to run. He wanted to bang on that door and demand to know what was inside. But he'd gotten the correct response. He could continue. He practically sprinted back to the security office. At 1:17 a.m., the phone rang. Tunde stared at it like it was a snake. It rang 4 times before he picked up, his hand shaking so badly he almost dropped the receiver. Golden Tulip Hotel, security office, he said, trying to sound professional. Is my daughter there? The woman's voice was frantic, crying, desperate, real terror in every syllable. Tunde's throat went dry. He forced himself to remember the script. Your daughter went home safely. Please, I need to know. Is my daughter there? I've been looking for her all night. Please, you have to help me. Every instinct in Tunde's body screamed at him to help this woman, to ask for her daughter's name, to check the guest registry, to do something. But the rule was clear, exact words only. Your daughter went home safely. I'm begging you, the woman was screaming now, sobbing. Just tell me if my daughter is there. She's only 7 years old. Please, please. Tunde's eyes were burning with tears. His hand gripped the phone so hard his knuckles were white. Your daughter went home safely. The line went dead, just like that. No goodbye, no response, just silence. Tunde sat there for 10 minutes, staring at the phone, feeling like the worst human being on the planet. Who was that woman? What happened to her daughter? Why couldn't he help? But he was too afraid to ask, too afraid to deviate from the rules. The rest of the night passed without major incident. No doppelganger appeared, no bleeding guests. At 4:44 a.m., Tunde locked himself in the security office and stared at the CCTV monitors as the lights flickered 3 times. He heard the footsteps, the knocking, then his mother's voice. Tunde, Tunde, open the door. I'm sick. I fell down. I need you. Your sisters are not picking their phones. Please. Tears streamed down his face. His mother's voice was perfect. The exact way she called his name when she was scared. The exact inflection. He knew it wasn't real. His mother was in the village, safe in bed. But knowing something intellectually and feeling it emotionally are 2 different things. His hand actually reached for the door handle before he forced himself to look back at the monitors. At 4:59 a.m., everything stopped. Tunde counted to 60, his voice shaking. When he opened the door, the corridor was empty, clean, quiet, like nothing had happened. He survived his first night. By the end of the first week, Tunde had established a routine. He knew exactly where to stand, what to say, how to time everything perfectly. He even started to relax a little. Maybe this was just some elaborate psychological experiment by the hotel management. Maybe the rules were just weird corporate hazing. Maybe Mr. Obasanjo was just an eccentric boss who liked to scare his employees for fun. Then came night 8. the night everything went spectacularly, horrifyingly wrong.
The Hotel Night Guard, Part 3. When Tunde saw himself at the end of the corridor, he had 15 seconds to reach a doorway. What came through the bathroom door shouldn't have been possible. Everything was fine until 2:47 a.m. Tunde was doing his regular rounds on the 3rd floor, checking that all the emergency exits were properly locked when he saw him. Standing at the end of the corridor, facing away, a man in the exact uniform Tunde was wearing. Same shoes, same belt, same torch hanging from the same hip. Tunde's stomach dropped to his feet. Rule 3. You will see yourself. The other Tunde began to turn around, slowly, like he had all the time in the world. Tunde immediately looked down at the carpet and started walking backward. His heart was a drum solo. His hands were shaking. He could hear footsteps now. The other Tunde was walking toward him. Not slow anymore, fast. The footsteps were getting louder, closer, faster. Tunde's backward walk became a backward jog. He needed to reach a doorway. Any doorway. The nearest door was at least 15 feet away, and the footsteps were right there, so close he could hear breathing, his own breathing, but wrong somehow, too deep, too rhythmic, like a recording played at the wrong speed. Don't look, don't look, don't look. Tunde, his own voice. Why are you running from yourself? Don't look. Tunde, I just want to talk. Don't you want to know what I am? Tunde's back slammed into a door. He grabbed the handle blindly, twisted, pushed through. It was a guest room. Empty, thank God. He ran to the bathroom, locked the door, and started counting backward from 100, his voice coming out in gasps. 100, 99, 98. Bang! Something hit the bathroom door from outside. 97, 96, 95. Bang! Bang! The door shook in its frame. Tunde, that voice again. His voice. Why are you hiding from yourself? Open the door. Let me in. We need to become one again. We were never meant to be separate. 73, 72, 71. Open the door! The voice was no longer his. It was something else, something that sounded like 3 voices speaking at once, harmonizing in a way that made Tunde's teeth ache. The door began to crack, wood splintering. Tunde counted faster. 45, 44, 43. An arm punched through the door. Pale, wrong. The fingers were too long and they bent in too many places, and the skin looked like it had never seen sun, and there was something under the skin, moving, writhing. Zero! Tunde screamed and lunged for the toilet. He flushed it once, twice, 3 times. Instantly, everything stopped. The arm vanished. When Tunde looked at the door, it was intact. No cracks, no hole, no nothing. Just a regular bathroom door. Tunde waited for 5 full minutes before opening it, his entire body shaking. The guest room was empty, normal. The bed was made, the curtains were closed, everything was exactly as it should be. He checked the CCTV footage later when he'd calmed down enough to operate the computer without his hands shaking. The footage showed him entering the bathroom alone. No chase, no other Tunde, no arm through the door, just him walking calmly into a bathroom, staying there for a few minutes, then walking out. But Tunde knew what he'd seen, what he'd heard, what had tried to break through that door. He finished that night's shift, but barely. He drank 4 cups of coffee and spent the remaining hours in the security office with all the lights on, staring at the monitors, flinching at every shadow. The real test came on night 11. At 2:52 a.m., Tunde encountered her in the main lobby. A woman in a white nightgown standing by the reception desk. Blood was pouring from a wound on her forehead, running down her face in thick rivulets, dripping on the pristine marble floor. Her nightgown was soaked with it. There was so much blood. She looked at him with desperate, terrified eyes. Please help me. Someone attacked me in my room. Please call the police. Please call the police. Tunde's medical instinct kicked in immediately. She was losing too much blood. She needed an ambulance now. He reached for his phone. Then he remembered rule 4. If you encounter a guest bleeding from any visible wound after 2:30 a.m., you must ask them one question. Are you checking out? But this woman was clearly in danger, clearly hurt. How could he just walk away? What if she died because he followed some insane rule? Please, the woman whispered, taking a step toward him. Her bare feet left bloody prints on the marble. I'm scared. I don't want to die. Please help me. Tunde's hands were shaking so badly he almost couldn't speak. Every moral fiber in his body was screaming at him to help her, to call an ambulance, to get her a first aid kit at least. But he remembered Mr. Obasanjo's words. This will be the hardest rule to follow. Follow it anyway. Ma'am, Tunde said, cracking. Are you checking out? The woman stopped moving. She stared at him. For a long moment, neither of them moved. Then her expression changed. The fear vanished, the terror evaporated. Her face became blank, empty, like someone had turned off a switch. No, she said flatly. Her voice had no emotion, no inflection. It was like hearing a robot speak. I'm sorry, Tunde whispered, and he walked away. He forced himself to walk. Every step felt like betrayal.
He had her behind him. "You are just going to leave me? What kind of person are you? I'm dying, and you're just walking away." Tunde kept walking. He made it to the security office, closed the door, locked it. Then he collapsed into the chair and put his head in his hands. When he finally looked up 20 minutes later, he checked the CCTV footage of the lobby. It showed him standing alone in the lobby, staring at empty space, saying, "Are you checking out?" to no one, then walking away. No woman, no blood, no footprint, nothing. But Tunde knew what he'd seen, what he'd heard, what had tried to break through that door. At 4:44 a.m. that night, when the lights flickered and the voices started, Tunde heard something new. His girlfriend's voice. Well, ex-girlfriend, they'd broken up 3 months ago, but still crying on the other side of the door saying, "Tunde, I'm pregnant. I'm at the hospital right now. There are complications. The doctors say if you don't come in the next 10 minutes, I might lose the baby. Please, I need you. Open the door. We can talk about our issues later. Just please, our baby needs you." Tunde's hand was on the door handle before he even realized it. His ex wasn't pregnant. They'd broken up. He knew that. But the voice was perfect. Not just her voice, her exact way of speaking. The way she cried, the way she said her name when she was scared. Every detail was right. His fingers were closing around the handle. He was going to open it. He looked at the CCTV monitor showing the corridor outside. Empty. Nothing there. No one. "Tunde, please, the baby." He looked back at the door. His hand was still on the handle. He could feel the metal, cold under his palm. One turn, that's all it would take. One turn and he could save her. Save the baby, save... There was no baby. His ex wasn't pregnant. This wasn't real. Tunde pulled his hand back like the handle was made of fire and stared at the monitors until 4:59 a.m. His heart did not stop racing until 5:30 a.m. When he opened the door at 5 a.m. after counting to 60, there was a note on the floor, handwritten in elegant script. "Well done, you passed the test. Management."
The Hotel Night Guard, Part 4. The hotel manager finally revealed what the building sits on and why one guard who opened the door at 4:44 a.m. now sits in a psychiatric ward whispering the same 3 words forever. The next morning, Mr. Obasanjo called Tunde into his office. His eye was twitching more than usual, like it was trying to escape his face. "Tunde, I've reviewed the footage from your first 2 weeks. You followed every rule precisely, even when it was clearly difficult for you. That's remarkable. Most guards break at least one rule by day 10. The longest record before you was 12 days. Sir, can I ask, what are these rules protecting me from?" Mr. Obasanjo leaned back in his chair, which creaked under his weight. He looked tired, old beyond his years. This hotel was built on land that was once a hospital, St. Augustine's Hospital. It closed in 1976 after a fire killed 23 patients. Before that, this land was a cemetery, Lagos Island Cemetery, operational from 1895 to 1952. And before that, he paused. Well, let's just say the Yorubas had reasons not to build on this particular plot of land for many generations. So the hotel is haunted. Haunted is a simplistic word for a complex phenomenon. Places have memory, Tunde. Trauma leaves imprints. This land has seen a lot of death, a lot of pain, and some of that pain doesn't just disappear. It lingers, it manifests. The rules exist because we've learned, through trial and error, through a lot of mistakes, how to coexist with those manifestations. The rules are a contract. As long as you follow them exactly, you're protected. The manifestations can't harm you. They can scare you, yes, they can test you, but they can't hurt you. The moment you break a rule, the contract is void. What happens to guards who break the rules? Mr. Obasanjo's eye did 3 rapid twitches. Some quit immediately and never speak about it. Some go mad. One guard broke Rule 5, opened the door at 4:44 a.m. We found him the next morning completely catatonic, just sitting on the floor, staring at nothing. He's in a psychiatric facility in Yaba now. Just sits there, staring, whispering, "I let them in," over and over. He's been there for 6 months. The doctors say he may never recover. Tunde felt sick. And you still operate this hotel? You still hire people to work nights knowing this? We employ 47 people. We serve hundreds of guests every month. We provide a service. We contribute to the Lagos economy. Yes, the night shift is unusual, but that's why we pay night guards so well. We're not hiding the truth. We tell every guard about the rules up front. We are honest about what the job entails. You signed a contract, you accepted the terms, and you are doing important work, Tunde. You are keeping the balance. You are keeping everyone safe. The daytime staff, the guests, even yourself. Mr. Obasanjo stood up and extended his hand.
Your first month is almost complete. If you finish successfully, your salary increases to 200,000 naira monthly. Are you willing to continue? Tunde thought about it. He thought about the doppelganger, about his mother's voice begging him to open the door, about the bleeding woman vanishing into nothing, about the phone call from the desperate mother whose daughter he couldn't help. But he also thought about his bank account, now showing 450,000 naira. He'd paid his rent for 3 months in advance, he'd sent money to his mother for her medication, he'd even bought a new phone and a pair of shoes. Real financial stability for the first time in his adult life. And the rules worked. They were insane, yes, impossible to explain to anyone outside this hotel, but they worked. As long as he followed them exactly, he was safe. I'll continue, sir. Mr. Obasanjo smiled for the first time since Tunde had met him. It was not a comforting smile. Excellent. But I should warn you, next month we're adding a 6th rule. Tunde's stomach dropped like an anchor. A 6th rule? Yes, you've proven you can handle the current 5, which means you are ready for the next level. Rule 6. If you ever see a little girl in a yellow dress playing in the corridor after midnight, you must play 1 game of hide and seek with her. She will count to 20 while you hide. And Tunde, Mr. Obasanjo's eye did 3 rapid twitches. You must let her win. She must find you within 5 minutes. If she doesn't, if you hide too well, she trailed off. What happens if I hide too well? Let's just say we'll need to hire another guard very quickly, and Tunde will need to repaint whatever room you were hiding in. Tunde stared at him, trying to process this information, trying to understand what could be so dangerous about a little girl in a yellow dress, trying to understand what would require repainting a room. He decided he didn't want to know. Tunde still works at Golden Tulip Hotel. It's been 4 months now. He's mastered all 6 rules, although the hide and seek with the little girl in the yellow dress nearly gave him a heart attack the first time. She'd found him hiding in a supply closet, and when she tapped his shoulder and said, "Found you," in a cheerful sing-song voice, he'd screamed so loud that a guest on the 2nd floor called to complain. Last week, they added a 7th rule. If you smell jasmine perfume at 3:33 a.m., smile and say, "Good evening, Mrs. Chen." Do not turn around. Stand completely still for exactly 33 seconds. You may continue when the smell disappears. He has no idea who Mrs. Chen is. He doesn't want to know. He follows the rule when the time comes, standing frozen in whatever corridor he happens to be in, feeling a presence behind him, feeling breath on the back of his neck that smells like jasmine and something else, something old and sad and angry. He counts to 33. The smell disappears. He continues his rounds. But he's saved 780,000 naira now. He's planning to open his own business soon, maybe a small restaurant or a phone repair shop. Something normal, something where the rules make sense and people don't vanish into thin air and your doppelganger doesn't chase you down corridors. His friends ask him about the job. He tells them it's boring, just walking around, checking doors, watching cameras, easy money, nothing exciting ever happens. He never mentions the rules, because last week a new guard was hired for the day shift. Young guy, fresh out of university, eager to prove himself, full of energy and optimism. He'd asked Tunde during the handover, "Bro, is the night shift really as crazy as people say? My cousin told me some wild stories." Tunde had looked at him, really looked at him, at his young eager face, at his pressed uniform, at his hope for a good job and a decent salary, and lied smoothly. "No, my brother, nothing ever happens at night, just peace and quiet. Your cousin is just trying to scare you. You know how people like to exaggerate." The young guard had laughed, relieved. "That's what I thought. Thank God, I need this job, I beg." Tunde had clapped him on the shoulder and wished him luck, feeling like Judas. Because some jobs you don't recruit for, some knowledge you don't share, some experiences people have to go through themselves to understand, some rules you follow in silence. And some hotels have been standing far longer than the living can remember, on land that remembers everything, hosting guests who checked in decades ago and never quite checked out. Golden Tulip Hotel has a vacancy again. Night guard position, 150,000 naira to start, 200,000 naira after the first month. Easy money. Just follow the rules. All of them. Exactly.